Your Royal Highness, Excellencies, and eminent guests, a warm welcome to Stockholm Food Forum and the 5th annual gathering of the extended Eat family. When preparing for this year's forum, I had one particular image on my mind. My childhood dining room at Muggerud, way out in the Norwegian countryside. This picture shows me and my family all dressed up for Christmas, but every day we would gather around that same table for dinner. My mom, she was a local doctor, and my father was working long hours as an engineer. My brother, sister, and I, we were literally all over the place. But we would always come together for that one meal. We'd share stories from our days at school or at work, and we discuss everything, from personal dilemmas to international politics. We as kids, we would question anything, and I promise you, we would challenge everything. As you can tell from this picture, it wasn't always pleasant, but we were always earnest. And we all knew that no matter how much we'd quarrel, at the end of the day, we would still be family. And everyone was always welcome back at that table. There are many ways to be a family. Some share blood. We share a purpose. And it's fantastic to see that the Eat family is continuously growing. We would never fit into a homey kitchen, of course, like the one at Muggerud. But when deciding where to host the forum in the first place, we wanted to find a setting with the same spirit and the same values. Sweden is ranked amongst the world's most sustainable, innovative, and happy countries. But most importantly, it welcomes free dialogue with open questions and honest answers. So that's why I'm extremely proud to have the Swedish government as our official co-host this year, helping us to set the table at an even bigger venue here in beautiful Stockholm. So the basis of constructive dialogue is openness and is trust. Lately, however, polls show that global trust is now at a record low. The world is dividing, and too often we choose to sit at a table with like-minded people rather than mingling with those of a different view. And on top of that, we don't even have a shared set of facts. With new media, we no longer share the same stories, the same newsfeed, or even the same realities. Back home, whenever there was the slightest disagreement on facts, my father would go and find the big encyclopedia and read out loud. It didn't necessarily end or conclude the debate, but it did create a common reference point. So today, most people would just pick up their phones and Google to cherry-pick whatever facts that best support their views. So the lack of common reference contributes to the growing world polarization, which again hinders coordinated action. Until now, we've had no goals, facts, or narrative for the food system as a whole, promoting the health of both people and the planet. To move forward, we must define a unifying factual baseline for food. As the first attempt to set global scientific targets, the Eat Lancet Commission on Food Planet Health will release their report later this year. We hope that it will enable more constructive conversations, collaboration, and help track transformation. Ideally, of course, we would have a set of simple answers, short enough to tweet and easy for all to commit to. But to create real change for a real world, we must address real complexities, controversies, and dilemmas. For example, at a global level, we need to dramatically reduce the consumption of meat and animal proteins. Yet, in some part of the world, people will have to increase their intake due to nutritional needs. And also, livestock will continue to play an important role for livelihoods, right? How do we find the right balance? And next, we will never be able to feed 10 billion people a balanced, healthy diet without a massive increase in trade. At the same time, local food is trending, and countries are looking increasingly inwards to build resilient communities. Is there a global way forward? And finally, food production is moving now both into the labs and back to nature. So do we have to choose between technologists or ecologists? Or is the answer somewhere in between? These are just some of the topics that we will be discussing over the next 2 days. However, for us to make progress, I expect you, all of you, to ask the tough questions, but also to be open about your own challenges. And here in this room, you find representatives from all sectors, all continents, more than 60 countries of different age, gender, and cultures, from royals to smallholder farmers. Together, we make up a unique, diverse sounding board for future food solutions. So do hear the latest updates from your own part of the food chain, but please also use this opportunity to learn what it looks like from the other side of the table. These 2 days won't answer everything about the future of food, of course not. But one thing is for sure. Our food system transformation must be rapid and radical. As in most families, strains and struggles happen to be unevenly distributed. And so are responsibilities and possibilities to create large-scale change. But let's remember, all of us here are united by our common mission to get it right on food and to create a food system for healthy people on a healthy planet, leaving no one behind. So please, let's not settle for what's less bad or slightly better than yesterday. Be bold, challenge and help each other to find solution that brings all of us all the way across that critical 2030 milestone. It might not always be pleasant, but no matter how heated the discussions, everyone is always welcome back at our family table. Back home, my mom's favorite dish was healthy pancakes, with eggs from our free-range pet chickens, with whole grain flours, and of course, absolutely no sugar. Often she used to add some vegetables in there too. It gave the pancakes a kind of indefinable color, I would say. And I love my mom, so please don't tell her that I share this. Her pancakes were great in theory, but my friends from school would rather go home on an empty stomach than to fill it up with all her green, nutritious stuff. Fortunately, healthy, sustainable food is now starting to both look good and taste good at increasingly competitive prices. It pops up and scales up everywhere, followed by a wave of optimism. Because once people get the taste of better solutions, they not only start craving and demanding a better future, they come together to make it happen. Over the next 2 days, let's find those common reference points. Let's create broad coalitions and new partnerships. And let's move this great food transformation forward. With Sweden as our co-host, with a table set, with nuts to crack and promising solutions, and with our global family flocked around it, we can fix this. And we will fix it because we will do it together. Now, let's get this family gathering started. Welcome, guys.